All right, joining us now, the author of the new book, The Two FBIs, former FBI special agent, Fox News contributor Nicole Parker, and retired FBI special agent Maureen O'Connell is with us. Nicole, start with you. Okay, I know a lot of people have home security systems. Most people, it's now very affordable to get AI cameras that are really sophisticated, that record on a 24-hour basis, where you can zoom in on anybody at any time, and they usually have facial recognition. Now, the fact that this university didn't have it everywhere on campus and around the perimeter, to me, is unforgivable. It makes no sense. They have an $8 billion endowment. Can you explain that?
I agree with you 1,000,000%. It's absolutely despicable. And if you think about it, every single image that we have seen came from the neighborhood. Those came from Ring doorbell cameras. Not one image that we've seen came from inside the building, inside the campus. And the Providence police chief was in this press conference just, yes, we have it inside. We have video from inside. No, we don't. Yes, we do. The attorney general is basically like, can you please step aside so that we can step in and give some confidence to the community? Right now, they have instilled no confidence. But Sean, what I find quite alarming is that there's something called the Clery Act. It's a law that universities and colleges have to abide by, and they have to submit annual security reports, which Brown University did in 2025. And I took it upon myself to look through it and see what it said. I did a keyword search looking up CCTV. Out of 171 pages, it was mentioned one time. I did other keyword searches that would indicate security. I was baffled by the fact that there wasn't much in there on things that are relevant, particularly to this investigation. But I think what's even more astonishing is that in January of 2025, Brown was running at a $46 million deficit and budget deficit, and they were looking for ways to cut costs. And you know what their number one priority was? How are we going to maintain our DEI initiatives and programs at Brown while we're trying to cut costs? That was not something that they wanted to cut. They were also deeply concerned about Trump coming in with these executive orders, slashing DEI. That was a major concern to them. They were so concerned about making, quote unquote, safe spaces for their students as far as a DEI perspective, yet their college was completely dangerous, and now there are 2 dead students. There was no video surveillance inside that building. It is entirely inexcusable, and every single college, university, and school needs to review your security systems and your surveillance cameras. Again, at the end of the day, it is the shooter's fault. He is fully responsible for this, but it is also the college and university's responsibility to keep your students safe, and they have failed.
All right, Maureen, let me go to you. I know for a fact, talking to my sources in the FBI, that there is a massive FBI presence in and around Providence, around Brown University. They are there. They're on the ground. They're working 24/7. However, campus police and local authorities seem to want to maintain control and stay in the lead on this case. Why would they not hand it over to the people that have a great track record, that have been breaking record after record in terms of arrests, lowering crime statistics around the country? The FBI shattered one record after another in 1 year of Kash Patel being at the helm. Why wouldn't they let them take the lead?
I think they're afraid to expose exactly some of the things Nicole was just talking about. For example, my company does security threat assessments to schools of all sizes, and I've participated even back when I was an FBI agent for major universities in the Los Angeles areas, who, by the way, all have very comprehensive, very, very, forward-leaning security platforms. However, she's right. There are a lot of schools that I go to where all they're concerned about is cutting security. It's one of the first things that people like to cut. They always think it's not going to happen to them. It's not, and I'll say, what do your insurance policies look like? They seem to have their insurance policies, like regular, normal ones that you would have, up to date. But they're always trying to cut corners, even when we come in with a master plan for camera coverage, for zoom tilt cameras, all the high-end things that you would want, communication systems. They're always trying to say, well, can we put it in a phased approach? There's just always blowback from, not always, but there's oftentimes blowback from a lot of these schools. And it just blows my mind, to be honest.
Is there a process, Nicole, I only have about 20 seconds, 25 seconds, where local authorities, campus police have to give the lead to the FBI? Can the FBI just take over? Because my understanding is They have special agents from all around the country that have descended in the area around Providence and Brown. Why wouldn't they let the real pros take over here?
Okay, that's an excellent question. And the answer is because the FBI does not have jurisdiction. For an active shooter incident, Obama signed a law into act around 2013 that after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, it authorized the FBI and DOJ to provide assistance at the request of state and local law enforcement after an active shooter, for example, but it does not give them jurisdiction. Primary jurisdiction for the FBI would be involved if it crossed state lines, if it involves terrorism or other federal crimes. At this point, there's no indication of a federal crime. Therefore, the state and the locals do maintain jurisdiction, and the FBI is doing a tremendous amount of work to help them right now.
You would think you want the people that are the best in the business right there next to you, running lead, and you helping any way you can. All right, thank you both. Maureen. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.